Hello, this is Zamanzadeh from ZZNetworking.com. In this tutorial video, we're going to be using the like operator and talking about wildcards. So go ahead and select all columns from the customer table and go ahead and display them as I have here on the bottom pane of my screen. Now, when you're using the like operator, in most cases, conditions involve exact matches, such as retrieving rows from each customer located in the city of Grove. In some cases, however, exact matches do not work. For example, you might know that the desired value contains only a certain collection of characters. In such cases, the like operator is used with a wildcard symbol. There are two wildcard symbols, the % and the underscore. The % sign can be used to retrieve when you have multiple unknown symbols. The underscore is only for one character that is unknown. I'm going to give you examples of both of them so that way you can see. To begin this lesson, I'd like you to start off by inserting two more rows to the customer table, which you'll see the code appear momentarily. This first insert, notice that in between the N and the S in Anderson, the name, you see two single quotes. You do this if you want to have an apostrophe S. Do not use the double quotes, but just type two single quotes, S, and then continue coding, and that will give you an apostrophe S for the name Andersons. In addition to this, for this exercise, you notice that the first letter of the word Anderson is in lowercase. Please make sure that when you code this, you don't put this into capital case because this will affect the lesson later on. Make sure you use a lowercase a for that name. When you're done with that, hit Control Enter and insert that row. Now let's go ahead and insert a second row for this example. After you're done inserting the second row, we're going to go ahead and select all columns from the customer table. Now I want you to scroll down to the bottom of your screen. You'll notice down here on the bottom it says more than 10 rows available. Increase row selector to view more rows. Meaning it's showing you 10 rows, but it says that there are more than 10 rows available. So how do we view those rows? Let's go back up to the top. You notice that it says display right here on the top next to the auto commit on the left hand side of your screen. And next to that is the number 10. In this drop down, go ahead and click that. You can see that you can display up to 100,000 rows for this table. We only need 12 for this, so go ahead and put down 15. Select all from customers one more time, hit Control Enter. When you go down to the bottom of the screen, you see now that there are 12 rows returned. And we can see all the rows for this table, including the two you just inserted. Now let's get back to wildcards. Suppose, well, first of all, let's code the following. Suppose you want to know the customer number, customer name, the street, the city, the state, and the zip code for customers whose city has the letters E and O in them. You're not sure and you don't care how many characters there are before the E, and you're not sure and don't really care how many characters there are after the O. There could be 0 characters or 1,000 characters, as many characters. It doesn't matter because the % sign simply says however many characters there are before, and since we have another % sign afterwards, how many ever characters after this O, return a city that has the letters E and O in them. Now make sure to put this in single quotes because you're saying you want to return exactly what is in these single quotes. Hit Control Enter, and we get back a record where the city's name is Reno. So That's one way we can use a wildcard to retrieve this. There's a second way to retrieve the same row, and I'm going to code that for you in just a moment. So in this example, suppose we know that the city's name is only 4 letters long. We know that it has ENO in it, as you can see here, but we don't know what the first letter is. For this situation, we use an underscore, because an underscore only returns one character wherever you put it. So here we know that there's a letter, we don't know what it is, we know that there's an E and N and an O after that letter, and we want to have the city that matches that. So we hit Control Enter, and now we have the customer number, name, street, city of the same record, Reno. Now, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Code the following that you see on your screen. You're going to say select customer number, customer name, street, city, state, and zip code from the customer table where the customer name is like percent and percent. We hit Control Enter, and we get 2 rows recorded. We get Smith and Jack, and we get Anderson's. Now suppose we only wanted to find a row where the customer name had the word "and" in the middle of it. We did not want to get Anderson. We just wanted to get only customer names that have the word "and" in the middle. How do we do this? Well, remember, whatever you put in single quotes, you're telling Oracle that you want an exact match. You're saying you don't care how many characters are before this A or how many characters are after this D. Just get me the customer names that have the letters A and D in the middle of them. So if we want to make sure that we only get the names that have the word and not Anderson, all we have to do is put a space. We put a space between the percent sign and the A, as I just did, and we put a space between the D and the percent sign, as I just did. Hit Control Enter, and now we get only Smith and Jack. So here what we're saying is we don't care how many, once again the single quotes gives us the exact match. We don't care how many values are to the left or how many values are to the right, but there must be a space in between those values to the left and right of the word "and." And that's how we get Smith and Jack. Well, before we go on to the next lesson, why don't we go ahead and delete these 2 rows that you just created, since they're really no longer necessary. Delete from customer where the customer number equals 998, and then go ahead and delete from the customer where the customer number equals 999, and after that we're done with this lesson. Thank you for joining us, and God bless you.